Good afternoon, I am Andrew Heaney, and today I'm going to spice some things up a bit. So, I was originally going to make a part 3 video about the remaining Marvel movies that I need to talk about. However, there's 21 more films in this Marvel series that I want to talk about, so I will apparently have to split that into 2, so make a part 3 and a part 4, but I also want to talk about some DC movies, because it's another very popular comic book franchise. Everyone says, oh, DC's better than Marvel, or Marvel's better than DC. Ralph the Movie Maker, one of my favorite YouTubers, said it best.
I guess you could say it's a matter of quantity over quality. Marvel has a lot more good movies, but DC, the good movies they have, are not just good, they're great. The Batman movies and the Superman movie are all great, and I would consider most of those to be better than any of the Marvel movies.
And if you want my opinion, he's right. The MCU films are overall better in quality in terms of the quantity of films, but there's a handful of DC films that I will review that I think are better than any MCU movie. Maybe not by far, but definitely better. So I'm going to start this particular part of my DC reviews with the original 4 Superman films from the 70s and 80s, and the original 4 Batman films from the 80s and 90s. Starting off, we have 1978 Superman, directed by Richard Donner. I love this movie. I'm sorry, I know some people say, oh, it's cheesy, oh, it's a product of its time. Yeah, so? The score is one of the best film scores ever written, in my opinion. The characters are exactly what Superman should be. I mean, granted, very upbeat, very cheesy, definitely a product of its time. It's not perfect. I hate the ending. I will say that. I do not like the ending where Superman flies around the world. That was dumb. Other than that, I have absolutely no problems with this movie. This is one of the best DC films. It's one of the best superhero films ever made. And it's just such a joy to watch. It's a little long. There's a director's cut that's like 3 hours long. I watched the theatrical cut to prepare myself for this to save some time, but Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor is a fantastic villain, one of the most iconic villains ever. Christopher Reeve, rest in peace, as Superman is absolutely incredible. He is the Superman. And I'm not saying this out of nostalgia, because I did not grow up with this film. In fact, the first film I saw with Superman in it was Superman Returns, which I will eventually review. Margot Kidder as Lois Lane is great. I forget the actor who played Jimmy Olsen, but he was nice. I really like this movie. In fact, I adore this movie. And it also won at least a couple Oscars for the score and for the impressive, at the time, visual effects. I mean, the visual effects, they don't hold up super great, but they're pretty good, even especially for the time. And the silliness, for me, is what makes it more charming, you know? It is a very silly movie, but again, that's what makes it charming. Is it perfect? No. But Richard Donner did the best thing he could do. Superman 2, which came out in 1980, was directed by both Richard Lester and Richard Donner, depending on which cut you use. I'd say both cuts are actually pretty good. I mean, the Richard Donner cut is closer to the original vision, but I also really like the Lester cut. There's some dumb moments, like when Superman throws a cellophane S at one of Zod's minions. Yeah, that was dumb. Yeah, that's dumb. What I like is that Spider-Man 2 took a lot of elements from this, where Superman loses his powers for a good chunk of the film and then messes that up big time. I like that. It's done really well. And overall, I do think it's a good movie. It's just a huge step down from the first. It's a lot dumber than the first, but it's not a bad film by any means, and I recommend it. And I enjoy watching it every now and again. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I recommend it. Oh my god, Superman 3. Ugh. This movie is bad. Really bad. Richard Pryor's in it for no reason. He's just the comic relief. And he's incredibly unfunny. The opening credit scene is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what to say about this movie. The tone is all over the place, which is a little shocking. The comedy's bad. The effects are okay, I guess. The script is trash. I don't know what to say about this movie. It's bad. It's really bad. Superman for the Quest for Peace. Oh, this one is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. This film astounds me. It has an incredible amount of plot holes, which is something I don't typically critique. But the story contradicts itself so often that I'm baffled. Absolutely baffled. Nuclear Man, as Lex pronounces it, is a laughable villain. Absolutely laughable villain. I don't know who plays him. It's something like Dolph Lundgren. It's not Dolph Lundgren, but it's something like him. The effects are the worst effects I've ever seen in a movie of this scale. Christopher Reeve, he's trying, but not good enough. Same with Margot Kidder. They're trying, but that's all I can say about this movie. This is a horrendous film. Absolutely horrendous. Do not see this. It's not even so bad it's good. It's just horrible. Horrible movie. And then the exact same trend happened with the Batman movies. The first one's great, the second one's good, the third one sucks, and the fourth one's one of the worst movies ever made. Let's see that trend now with Tim Burton's Batman '89. If you want my opinion, this is the best Tim Burton film out there. Michael Keaton as Batman is a little strange choice, but Jack Nicholson as the Joker is incredible. If it wasn't for Ledger and Phoenix, I would consider him the quintessential Joker. I just adore him. He's a fantastic Joker. The score is one of the best scores ever written, again, made by Danny Elfman, who usually I don't really like, but here I totally do. I love this score. The art direction is incredible. The Batmobile, the design of Gotham, it's just beautiful. It's also very unpleasant at times. That's the idea. And overall, it's a fantastic movie. Vicky Vale is also a pretty good character. My biggest problem with it is that it's a little cliche, but still, it set the bar for a lot of superhero movies. And overall, I think it's one of the best superhero films ever made, and definitely one of the best DC films ever made. So I highly recommend it. I don't like it as much as the Dark Knight trilogy, but I still highly recommend it. Batman Returns. Batman Returns is good. It's, again, like Superman 2, a huge step down from the first. It's not a bad film by any means, it's just a little bit messy. Christopher Walken's character Max Schreck is a little... he doesn't really need to be there. I really like Catwoman. Danny DeVito as the Penguin is gross, but I don't hate it. The film also has a lot of memes. The action is also a huge step up from the first, that's one thing. The art direction is also pretty good, still. And the tone is also a little over the place, but still, highly recommend this movie. And I also enjoy visiting it every now and again. Batman Forever is bad. They replaced the score, first of all. Shame on you. Second, they cast Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face instead of Billy D. Williams. Granted, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face on paper is not a bad idea, but holy crap, his performance is so crazy, and I don't even like it. Jim Carrey as the Riddler is a little fun, I'll admit that. And his plan is actually kind of clever. Like, the way he's stealing people's information, I'd say it's kind of out of its time. That's all I'm going to say about this movie that's positive. Well, Robin's character is done okay. I don't really like this movie at all. It's just bland and bad. Like, it's just a bad movie overall. It's directed by Joel Schumacher because the studio didn't like what they were doing, what Tim Burton was doing. This film made money, but it did not gain a huge profit like they were hoping. Much like Batman Returns. Unfortunately, I still don't recommend this movie. It's bad. Really bad. The next one is Batman and Robin. Have you ever heard a positive thing ever said about this movie? Me neither, but I'll try my best. The ice puns are kind of funny. Ironically, at least. The costumes are good. That's it. Like, the costumes aren't even good. The sets are good. The costumes are trash. Like, this movie's horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's a complete tonal shift from even Batman Forever. Batman Forever at least had some dark-ish moments, But following Batman Returns and Batman 89 and even Batman Forever in this is just awful. It's like the Adam West Batman show, only instead of it being charming and fun, and it's just dumb. It's really dumb. The one-liners are terrible. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze is laughable. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy is pretty bad. All the characters are annoying. George Clooney as Batman is bleh. Bad. Like Superman 4, this is one of the worst films I've ever seen. So now we see the trend in Superman and Batman movies. First one is great, second one is good, third one is bad, and the fourth one is one of the worst films ever made. So I'm making that brief video at my house. The reason why I am even making this video at all is because the coronavirus is going crazy and it's becoming a huge issue, so I would highly advise everyone who's watching this video to please stay home. Even if you're not sick, stay home, okay? It's just not a good idea to be out and about in public at this time in a terrible emergency like this. Now that my PSA is done, that's all I have to say. See you next time.